What's up everyone, welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Today a lot of news has been going on in the past couple of weeks. I've not done the transfer show for 2 weeks because I've been really busy with uni stuff. Still quite busy, but I'm trying to filter the time and maybe making this a shorter video so I have more time to do my own things. But there's over 30 transfers I've not talked about yet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through all the confirmed transfers so far. A lot of them have already made their championship debut with their team, and I'll tell you whether they've made a positive or are still unproven to me. And then I'm going to go through 10 championship rumours, and I'm also going to be talking about championship fans and football fans not being able to go back to the stadium on the proposed date on the 1st of October. So we've got a lot to cover in today's video, but if you guys like what you want to see and you want to see more championship content from me, please make sure you do give this video a like. It is tremendously appreciated, and please subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We're on 278 right now, so thank you guys so much for getting the target of 275 before October, but we are 22 subscribers away from 300, 30% to my target of 1,000 subscribers, so I could do a collaboration with BenHD. If you can get to 300 as soon as you can, and we can really push for 1,000 subscribers very soon, who knows when I will get it. And as you know, as soon as I get it, I will do this collab, and I think it'll be insane. And to do that, please share the channel, please share it to your social medias, to anyone who may like my stuff. All of that would really make my day. But without any further ado, we've got a lot of news to go over. COVID-19 has impacted everywhere. It's impacted my university, it's impacted my social life, it's impacted everyone's social life, it's impacted many businesses, but it has impacted football. Now, what could this mean with the lower league teams? Now, obviously, you heard the recent announcement from the Prime Minister that we were planning for fans to start returning to stadiums on the 1st of October, and the pilot games looked like they actually went really well. So it looked very promising. We could potentially continue on with this, but following the increase in cases, I think we had over 5,000 cases yesterday as of recording, so it's not a really good sign. It looks like cases are rising up very rapidly, and if we're not careful, as the Prime Minister did say, we could be on risk for a second lockdown in Christmas time, and that is going to heavily impact many families if that is the case. So what will happen is that will be postponed, but for the lower league clubs, they would have really wanted for fans to start returning to stadiums on the 1st of October because they rely so heavily on their revenue from fans entering stadiums. You know, they don't have the financial support that Championship and Premier League clubs have. And it's good for them that the government have given them a bit of a parachute payment for evidence guided by the EFL and the Premier League to enhance this. They're going to need more than that to try and survive, because give it a couple of weeks, a couple of clubs could be at risk with hundreds of years of history, which would be a real shame. It could take up to 6 months, it could take up to 6 weeks. We just don't know what's going to happen. As soon as the vaccine comes for me, I think that is when things will start being on the up. Hopefully in the next coming weeks cases don't rise, because I think if they do, not only that it's going to risk below league clubs, but it could actually risk the top divisions as well. As you may have heard, David Moyes and 2 other West Ham players, Josh Karlan and Issa Diab, were tested positive for COVID-19 and were asymptomatic of it. So it looks like the Arsenal players who played against West Ham are going to have to be tested now and being treated very seriously. Leyton Orient was supposed to play against Spurs yesterday, but a significant number of Leyton Orient squad were tested positive for COVID-19. So at this rate, if it continues to be as rapid as it is, it could cancel the whole thing entirely, but luckily we do have better testing now. Of course, Neil Warnock was also tested positive as well. So now going back to football, let's go through all the transfers so far. I'm going to name the main additions for sides and the main outgoings for teams. So we'll go with Ben Sheaf, obviously from the under-23 Arsenal team to Coventry. Only made a couple of minutes, making a few substitute appearances. Looks pretty promising so far. Miguel Guerrero, who has joined Nottingham Forest from Olympiacos, he's made a substitute appearance against Cardiff. Looked okay, but I'm still waiting to see a little bit of him. He's a bit unproven. Tom Carroll, he's already had a very important squad in Queen's Park Rangers. He started for them against Coventry, of course, where Queen's Park Rangers lost in the weekend. Looks really good. Ben Gibson, of course, has joined Norwich. Still waiting to see more from him. Alfie Mawson has joined Bristol City on loan. Already, he looks a very important player, and I think, if I'm right in saying, I think he's been given the captain's armband as well. Him or Thomas Callas have been given the captain's armband. I think Alfie Mawson's going to have a very important role. 2 Bournemouth players, Ryan Fraser and Callum Wilson, have both went to Newcastle. Callum Wilson going for about 20 million. Bit of a shame that Bournemouth let him go for that price, because I felt they could have made more profit if they sold him a little bit earlier when he was in the Premier League. Shea Oju has joined from Liverpool to Cardiff, already made an appearance for Cardiff in the 2-0 away victory against Nottingham Forest. Looks very sharp actually, looks a bit selfish on the ball at times. If he just improved his contribution and wasn't as selfish on the ball, he'd be a fantastic player, but he had a load of energy for Cardiff. Then we've got Max Lowe and Jayden Bogle, 2 Derby players joining Sheffield United. Stripe Perica has joined from Udinese to Watford. Of course, the Watford owners actually own Udinese as well, so that was an easy transfer for them to make. He did get sent off yesterday against Newport County though, which was probably the shock of the Carabao Cup so far. Chris Brunt has joined West Brom to Birmingham City. Bristol City, I think a fantastic signing. Isaac Christie-Davis, Liverpool under-23s to Barnsley. A player who I've seen a little bit, but still waiting to unlock his potential. I think he can do with a club like Barnsley. Steven Sessegnon has also joined Bristol City, this time for Fulham. A load of defensive reinforcements for Bristol City actually. I'm really happy to see the intent they have to try and improve their squad. Pipa has joined from Espanyol to Huddersfield. I think he'll be very important for that squad. Abdi Doucouré has left Watford to join Everton. Already has made a terrific impact for Everton. Jamal Lewis has left Norwich to join Newcastle. Has already made a couple of appearances. Looks quite good and looks very fresh in Newcastle strip. Ollie Watkins has left Brentford to join Aston Villa for 27.72 mil. Has already made a big impact. Hasn't scored a goal in the Premier League yet, but he has scored goals in the Carabao Cup. He looks to be very, very good. I think Dean Smith will definitely get the best out of him. Francisco Sierrata has also left Udinese to join Watford as well. Steve Mounier has left Huddersfield to join Brest for a fee of £4.5 million. And obviously, big bit of news last week was Nathaniel Mendes-Lang getting his contract terminated. I feel like it could have been a drug-related test or maybe a fitness thing. It was just a really big shame for someone in his talent losing out on his contract, and I think it affected Cardiff at first in their first game against Sheffield Wednesday, but I feel like they've moved on very well with their great victory against Nottingham Forest. They've got David Stockdale, who left Birmingham to rejoin Wickham for another season. Jacob Brown has left Barnsley to join Stoke City for a fee of £1.98 million. I think a great signing for Stoke. He looked a little bit promising for Stoke, but he hasn't scored a goal yet. I think as soon as he scores one goal in the Championship, he could be a great player for Stoke. Michael Heelick has left Cravonia to join Barnsley. Unfortunately, he actually got sent off in Barnsley's recent game against Reading. Bertrand Selina has left Swansea to join League A side Dijon for a fee of £2.7 million. Marcus Bettinelli has left Fulham to join Middlesbrough. Looks to be a really good signing. I think a really good goalkeeper. Nathan Byrne, another Wigan player, has left this time to join Derby. I think he'll be very important. Naby Sarr has left Charlton to join Huddersfield, a good defensive signing. Neil Etheridge has left Cardiff to join Birmingham. A fantastic goalkeeper, has made some terrific saves against Swansea in their last game. Sam Morsey, another player from Wigan, has left to join Middlesbrough this time. And Korede Adedoyin, who has left the under-23 Everton squad to join Sheffield Wednesday. And then we go to the very recent ones. Daniel Ayala has left Middlesbrough to join Blackburn on a free. I think a very good coup for Blackburn to get him on a free transfer. Kemal Joswiak has left Poland to join Derby County, a left winger, and he was very, very good for Derby despite losing against Luton Town. He looks very, very lively. Rotherham have made the signing of George Hurst, who left the Leicester youth squad. I actually think he'll be a good signing for Rotherham. Scott Hogan returns to Birmingham. Finally, he's got a little bit of stability. James Garner, a young prospect from Manchester United, has joined Watford as well. Cyrus Christie has left Fulham to join Nottingham Forest on loan. I think he'll be the so-called replacement for Matty Cash. Whether he's got the same qualities, we'll have to wait and see. Nottingham Forest have been very busy. They've also got Harry Arter on a fee from Bournemouth, which I think is actually a really, really good signing. He was very important for Fulham when he was loaned out from Bournemouth to Fulham. You know, he was a very key part on getting Fulham promoted. He scored that goal against Nottingham Forest actually, that screamer from almost the halfway line, which I think attracted Nottingham Forest's attention. We've got Sam McCallum returning to Coventry. I think that's a fantastic deal. Norwich weren't prepared to let him go, but they eventually let him go back to Coventry. Huddersfield have made the signing of Carol Etting from Ajax, a defensive player. I think he will be alright for them actually. Chuba Akpom has joined Middlesbrough, another player with a load of pedigree. He's a centre forward. I think the biggest signing that's caught my attention is Mikel San Jose. I remember this guy in FIFA being very highly rated. He has dropped down a little bit in his rating. He was at Athletic Club or Athletic Bilbao most traditionally. 31 years old though, but he's a very versatile player, a defensive midfielder. Aitor Karanka and Birmingham have got a real player on their hands. He's got a load of pedigree. He's played at the Euros, Spain squad. I think he could do bits with Birmingham. He could definitely give The Birmingham players some much needed experience at the top level. Samuel Ghoddos, who's Iranian, he has joined Brentford from Amiens, who were unfortunately relegated from Liga to Ligue 2 following that Liga was called short. Very unfortunate for them how they did get relegated in the end, but Sam Ghoddos was one of the shining spots. I think he'll be the circle replacement alongside Ben Rama. He's not been playing at the squad at all. Wasn't even in the squad in the Carabao Cup victory against West Brom yesterday. I think that will be his replacement. And the recent signing of Jordan Ibe from Derby. He has returned to Derby. Of course, he joined Bournemouth, but now he's returned to Derby. I think that's much needed for him. He's at the point of his career where he really needs to go for it. And I think returning to Derby, where he looked his most promising, I think he could definitely thrive out of it. It's a loan deal, and I think Derby will really value him. And the last signing to go over was just announced this morning, was that Reading have made their third signing, getting Lewis Gibson, the 20-year-old Everton defender, and I've heard a lot about him. I knew he captained the Everton under-23s team that actually won a League Cup double 2 years, which is actually really, really good. He's also been in the England youth squad as well, and has recently played a 3-0 victory, I believe it was against Iceland. A load of potential, and I think he'll definitely do something with Reading. But that's all the transfers that I've missed and the recent transfers that's taken place. But now we go to 10 juicy rumours. Let's get into the rumours. So Andre Ayew is the first name that's been rumoured. He's been linked with West Brom. Now West Brom have been really struggling so far in the Premier League, shipping a load of goals away. But if I'm going to be honest, I don't think Andre Ayew is going to fix it. For me, they need another striker. I don't think Callum Robinson or Charlie Austin is good enough, in my opinion, to lead the line. You know, Callum Robinson did struggle when he joined Sheffield United. He wasn't used properly. He has returned to West Brom, where he did look quite promising, but playing him as a lone striker, I think it's going to be very, very daunting for him. Charlie Austin, yes, he's got Premier League experience, but he's not the youngest player now. Personally, I think Andre Ayew will be good, but I don't think he'll fix their problems. Nottingham Forest and Swansea City have been battling out to try and get Almeria defender Matteo Pereres. I can't say his last name for the life of me, but he's been playing in the Spanish league. But Getafe have been expressing very strong interest as well. So I think for Nottingham Forest and Swansea, they've got tough competition, especially I think Pereres will prefer to stay in La Liga area. But Nottingham Forest and Swansea would definitely need someone like him. He's a centre-back, and I think he'll be a fantastic option for them if he does join. Luis Suarez of Watford has been linked to away. Now, Watford want 15 million move minimum for the guy, but they're not ruling out a loan deal also. Now, Granada, who have also currently playing in La Liga, have already expressed some interest. Luis Suarez looks to be a very promising player, and I was hoping he may stay for Watford this season. Swansea City are interested in signing Victor Gyökeres from Brighton. I think that's how you say his last name. He's got a little bit of championship pedigree. He has recently played in the championship for a couple of seasons. Obviously, he's now joined Brighton. But I think a move back down to the championship, I think, will be a fantastic move for him to try and get the potential. Graham Potter looks like that he's going to stick with the starting 11, and Victor doesn't look like he's going to have a load of minutes with him. So maybe a move to Swansea would be better for him. Bristol City boss Dean Holden has confirmed that he's been linked with Hull City winger Hakeem Adelekun, and Bristol City fans may recognise that name because he was a Bristol City player. Now, when he was there at Bristol City, I think he was a very important player for the club. I was really surprised how cheaply they managed to let the guy go. I think a return to Bristol City would be something really nice for the fans to see. I can definitely see this move happening if Bristol City step up their negotiations. Now, one of the biggest bit of rumours right now is on Macauley Bonne. Very hotly tipped striker. Had a little bit of good moments in the Championship last season. Queensborough Rangers apparently today have had a £1.5 million bid rejected by Charlton for the move. Barnsley and Swansea have also expressed interest as well, but it looks like Queensborough Rangers have already made the first bid, but it has been rejected, which is huge news. So I'm guessing maybe 3 million to try and push it. I mean, Macauley Bonne, I felt like 1.5 million is almost a bit of a laughing stock. I think he's definitely worth more from at least 2.5 million in my opinion for the impact he managed to give Charlton when Lyle Taylor was injured. Keenan Davis, who was a previous link to Derby and Preston, looks like he's going to extend a new deal at Aston Villa, which is a real blow for Derby and Preston, who were hoping that they were going to try and get him on a loan deal. They can still do that, but it looks like to me that Keinan Davis is going to stay at one place, and that is Aston Villa, which is a real blow for them. So both Derby and Preston are going to have to look elsewhere. Preston have not signed anyone at the moment, so I felt they were really hoping for Keinan Davis, but they're going to have to look elsewhere. And they are in danger losing Daniel Johnson, who looks like he will be going to Rangers. He wasn't in the squad. They said it was an injury, but I think it is following the interest. I feel if Rangers do match his negotiations, who I think will be 10 million maybe, if they are willing to pay that, then I think Preston will have to let him go. He has got under a year left in his contract as well, so they're in a very precarious position here. So it's very unfortunate for Preston if they do lose someone like him, because I think he was their best player last season, and Preston so far have been very frustrating in this transfer window, not making any moves so far. And if they lose Daniel Johnson, it's only going to get more difficult for Preston, unfortunately. So now we've got 2 more rumours to go through. Now, this one is on Karlan Grant. Now, obviously, West Brom remain in talks for Huddersfield to try and sign a striker, but 2 sides have reached an impasse. Now, I've actually learned this term recently in my accounting university course. Now, what an impasse is when 2 deals take place, but they've been broken down following a disagreement. So there's been no progress. It's almost been stalled. So it looks like Karlan Grant may not almost be likely to join West Brom now, but that's following a disagreement. If West Brom maybe were to agree with what Huddersfield are asking for, then they can get Karlan Grant. But right now, the 2 parties, West Brom and Huddersfield, are disagreeing on what they value Karlan Grant, which is why he's not left yet. I'm surprised not more clubs are going for him personally, but I do think West Brom, out of any club in the Premier League, I think definitely need this guy right now, or maybe even a top championship club. But I could definitely see West Brom being a very reasonable club for Grant to go to challenge himself in the Premier League. He was actually Huddersfield's top goal scorer when he joined in January, so I think he does have it within him to join a Premier League club. West Brom I think will be a good club, but if they don't agree with Huddersfield's terms, then Karlan Grant may have to stay, despite him being frozen out of the squad at the moment. And the final rumour to go through is the rumour of Kenneth Zohore, another West Brom striker. Obviously, Sheffield Wednesday have been linked with him. Gary Monk definitely wants another striker. He's got Josh Windass and he's got Jordan Rhodes up top at the moment. Being okay at the moment. Sheffield Wednesday looked alright, although the 0-0 draw with Watford gave me a few flashbacks of what they were going to be like last season, when they struggled to score goals at home. I feel they definitely need a target man to try and get more goals at home, and I think Kenneth Zohore, by and large, can definitely be that. He was definitely a target man when he was working under Neil Warnock in Cardiff. I think he'll be a good fit for Sheffield Wednesday. But that wraps up all the championship rumours that I've got in front of me right now, and that wraps up all the championship news, and that is all we're going to go over today. If you guys like what you want to see, please make sure you do give this video a like. It's tremendously appreciated. If you haven't done, please subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. It would really make my day. And if you haven't done, please share the channel. That is how I grow in subscribers, to your friends, social media, anything that you can to make the channel grow. We're on 278. Let's push for 300 before October. That would really make my day. But thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are legendary if you're studying this video. And as always, take care, guys.